Hey everybody, Chris Eggleston here. That's the book, Profit First. I've read it about 20 times since I got it. I believe I bought it at the end of December last year, and I've been going through it like crazy. I started implementing it in January in my businesses, and since then, it's been unbelievable. I didn't think I'd be able to do it, to be honest with you. Basically, it's a process of breaking down all of your income into separate accounts for different purposes. You've got operating expenses, you've got owner compensation, you got profits, and you've got taxes. So basically those are the core accounts, and then you can create accounts for other things. Like I have an account I created for payroll, and then a couple other specific accounts that I use for my business, just to make sure that I always have a reserve there for those purposes. I got to tell you, like, when I started doing the math and figuring out how much money I needed to pay myself and everything else, and the great thing about the book is he walks you through the entire process, simplifies it with systems and strategies, and with pre-configured concepts, and basically has it all broken down, gives you a starting point. You jump in and just get going, and you will be amazed, I believe, just like I was, at how easy it is to implement, but how effective it is. Let me just give you a couple examples of percentages. For me, so this applies to any income that comes in. Breaking it down into different accounts. So we got operating expenses, which for my business is only 15% of all income. Owner's compensation, what I pay myself, is 70% of all income. Profits is currently only at 3% for the first quarter, but I'll be taking my first profit distribution this week, actually, and then I'm going to increase the percentage of that I'll pay into profits every time I have income. And I've got a tax account as well, which is at 10% currently. So all income, 10% of that goes into a tax fund. And then what's the other one? I have a payroll, which is at 2%, just because we run a very light organization. So basically, all income comes in. I break it up based on these percentages, and do every quarter. I'm doing a payment into taxes based on estimated income. And then every quarter I'm doing a profit distribution, as he explains in the book. If you have debt on the business, technically you're supposed to apply your profit distribution to your debt payoff, so that can get done faster. I have no debt in the business, so I get to take that profit distribution and go have some fun with it. It's not going to be a lot of money, my first one, but looking forward to being able to do that. Feels good knowing that I can do that, that I've had the money just accruing in that account for months. And just being able to watch it accrue has been incredible. Let me tell you how I used to do things in the finance world. I had one checking account for the business. So all income came into the same account, all expenses went out from that same account. And what I would do is pretty much look at that one account and see how much money I had to spend. And if I had money in that account, then I would buy the things that I thought I needed, or the things that I wanted. Subscribe to a new software program that I may or may not really have needed. But if there was no cash in the account, then I went on a diet essentially, and stopped buying stuff, stopped spending money. And sometimes there was no cash in the account, and it became frustrating because I needed to actually pay for my expenses. One of the things he teaches in his book, The Profit First, is to evaluate your expenses and see if you can decrease the level of expenses that you have. And so that's the first thing that I did. We run pretty lean in all of my businesses as far as operating expenses go. And so I didn't really have any expenses I could get rid of. There were a couple I were able to negotiate a reduced price on, for some software that we use, some applications that we use. But ultimately, I run 15% of our income into an operation expenses account. So all of our expenses come out of this account, and 15% of all income. So if I have basically that money is just there to cover expenses, right? And now when I look at my accounts, I don't look to see how much money I have to spend as operating expense. I look to see how much money is accruing in my owner's compensation, so I can make sure that, I can withdraw every week and pay myself. Now, here's the cool thing that has happened. Now, I have struggled to pay myself in the past. In 2019, I struggled to pay myself just because, again, I played off that one account. I had one bank account, and if there was money there, I would buy things, before paying myself even sometimes. So when it came time to pay myself, sometimes that account would be short. Now, I have that specific account that collects 70% of all income. And so what's been happening since I've been playing Profit First program is there have been weeks where I have forgotten to pay myself, but that money just sits there and continues to accrue in that account. And the reason I forget to pay myself is because I haven't needed to necessarily pay myself as often as I did in the past, because now I have a system. Now I have this structured operation where my money all is assigned, all has a purpose. It has truly made me a better steward of my money, the money that I earn, which has enabled me to have more of it. I know, like, my income hasn't really changed. We've seen an increase a little bit this year in revenues from new subscribers, from new business owners, but we haven't had a huge jump in revenue. But it just has blown my mind how being structured and having this dedicated process of managing your money has enabled me to be a better steward. But as being a better steward has made it feel like I have more money. I haven't had, I'm supposed to pay myself every week as part of the corporation plan, but I haven't necessarily had to pay myself every week. Because again, I do this on the business side. I play Profit First on the business side, and I've also implemented it in a way on the personal side that works for me, a little bit unique. Instead of just the core accounts, I've got, there's like 14 accounts. And so basically the accounts on the personal side are all for business, are all for personal expenses and different spending purposes. But the great thing about them is those accounts, every time I pay myself, money is automatically distributed into those accounts. I use simple.com for personal banking. So there's 14 accounts, but they're not individual accounts. They're pretty much goals or a way to set up funding accounts within your one account. So you put money in and you set a funding schedule, and when that funding schedule happens, it automatically pulls all that money and distributes into the different accounts, so that it looks like it's been taken out of your available balance, and then it sits there. So I've gotten to the point to where our expenses are paid for, or cash is accruing in our personal expenses, and I've got 2-3 months of personal expenses already prepaid, essentially, because I've got the cash sitting there in those individual accounts. So it's been absolutely phenomenal. If you're looking in 2020 as a way to improve your financial situation, business or personal, it doesn't matter. And ultimately, like right now, with everything that's going on with COVID or the coronavirus, it seems like there's a lot of businesses struggling, obviously, and it seems like this should be an awakening, an opportunity for us to realize some areas where we can improve. I'm grateful I started this in January. Had I not started in January, we would be struggling financially right now, because I wasn't taking the necessary steps to protect ourselves financially. I wasn't doing the things necessary to be a good steward over the money that I was earning, that the company was generating. And so, right now we would be in a bad place. I wouldn't be able to pay my people. I wouldn't be able to pay myself. I wouldn't be able to cover our expenses. But because I started using this book right here, Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, I have been in such a better place in only 3 months of implementation. So I'd encourage you to go get it anywhere books are sold. You can go to his website. I'll link to it in the comments of this post, MikeMichalowicz.com. Good luck spelling that. So here's his full name if you want to jot that down real quick. but again, I'll put the link in the comments. Recommend you get it. There's an audio version. Mike reads it himself. He's absolutely hilarious. If you like to listen to books, I would highly recommend it. He goes off the cuff quite a bit, and it keeps it pretty relevant. And he updates it, with the reading and things like that. So it's pretty fun listen if you like audiobooks. But again, I highly recommend it if you're a business owner. Even if you're not a business owner and you're considering starting a business, start with Profit First. If you can start right, you'll end right. And like I said, I've taken these Profit First principles and figured out how to apply them in my personal finances as well, which has been huge. Again, we are currently never been able to do this before. Again, without much increase in revenue, we are currently 3 months ahead in our expenses. So meaning I've got 3 months of expenses ready to go, stored up for all of our expenses. And those aren't just expenses right now, because in Arizona, for example, let's look at the electric bill and the gas bill. In Arizona, our electric bill goes way down. It gets down to $50-$60 in the wintertime. But in the summertime, come July, August, September, we're going to be $300+ a month. So what I did is I figured out, how can I, so what I'm doing basically is figuring out the average of our electric bill, and that's what I'm setting aside each month. So even though I'm spending about $60 a month right now in the wintertime, I'm paying into that electric account, or that electric expense, I'm paying into it about $170 a month. So when July, August, September comes and my bill gets to $300+, I'm going to have a reserve there and be able to cover it no problem. Same thing with the gas bill. Again, wintertime it goes up. So right now we're doing about $70 a month in the gas bill. In the summertime, it's going to go down to like $20. So I'm doing the same thing. I figured out the average. I pay in the average every month, regardless of what it is, so that in summertime, we're going to accrue a lot of cash into that expense account, so that in the wintertime we'll be more than covered. Won't have to worry about it. It'll all be taken care of. So it's an awesome book. Highly recommend it. Again, it's a very simple strategy, and the first time I listened to it, I was like, I used to do this a little bit. I used to have several accounts and manage my money that way. But I didn't stick with it, but after reading this book, I was thinking it's common sense, it's super simple, but I wasn't doing it. Most people aren't doing it. Highly recommend it. Go check it out. Again, link in the comments to Mike's website, but you can find the book anywhere books are sold. Amazon.com, I believe, is where I got it. Audible is where I got the audiobook, but go check it out. It will change your life if you implement it. All right. So what I have for you guys today, I just want to share that because I've been super excited about it. Again, doing my first profit distribution tomorrow from the profits account. It won't be a lot. It's only going to be a couple $100 this time. But again, that's within 3 months, and that's only 50% of what is in the account based on how Mike teaches how you do your distributions. So I'm super excited about that. Not sure what I'm going to use that $200 for, but he says to have fun with it and enjoy it. So we'll figure something out. No debt on the company, so we don't have to worry about paying off the debt first. Just going to go have some fun with it. But highly recommend it. Again, here it is, Profit First. Go get your copy and change your financial situation for sure. Have a good one, guys. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Happy to help anytime I can. Just use the comments on this post or head to chriseggleston.com or chrisegg.com for short. Revamping that website currently and posting some more information there coming up this week. All right. Have a good one.